Hello and welcome everybody to the Blue Line 150 here from the newly reconfigured Kentucky Speedway. We're looking forward to an awesome night of racing here at the new track. Ignore the fact that none of the lights seem to have light poles. They're just kind of floating there in midair, but that's okay. You won't harp on that little detail too terribly much. So I hope everyone's having a fantastic morning, afternoon or evening out there. Should be a cracking race. So let's get in to see what these guys are getting up to on track. Our current top time, as Chris Champeau and Zach Floyd get it wrong, and so does Thomas out of turn 4 there. Actually, I just remembered that I've got to do something. There we go. Two people getting a little bit loose.
My PP.
Oh no. I totally forgot to mute the driver channel. Oh no. My apologies for that. Oh, damn. See Matt Burgess on screen, currently P9 in the standings. We'll go back to a return from Brandon C. Miller. Great to see Brandon back on track. Number 22 Output Racing League car. Been a while since we've had him here, and we're all the better for having him back. As everyone is getting ready for the pit party. You see Matt Burgess just binning himself while Lake Matties goes past. Looks like we're going to be getting led away by Jaron Sanchez for this one. Andrew Perkins up there, Kyle Kraus, Brian Chambliss, Chris Champeau up there as well. I think Darren is going to be dropping to the back, so a lead car. They're going to be the 88 or the 73. It looks like it's going to be the 88 of Jonathan Hernandez. Currently 22 cars in the server, 21 for the race, and then the one being myself. Current strength of field is a 25.55. As the drivers now come onto the front straight, and we're off and racing for the pit party. Hernandez already with a pretty big jump there. As we just about go 3 wide in the background. In fact, we do go 3 wide in the background there. But Chambliss, Harmon, and Sanchez. Oh, and the 12 and the 78 are going around. Brian Pizzicami and Matt Burgess. Like Brandon Miller might have been caught up in that as well. As we go back to focusing on the actual pack here, we're looking at the 21 of Brian Chambliss, currently P7 in the practice standings. Current leader is actually the 28 of Zach Floyd with a 30.082. Absolutely cracking time here. There's a 73 of Andrew Perkins, currently 13th. Right in front of him, the 90 of Michael Sturgill, currently P3. Thomas Harmon just behind, currently 10th. Thomas doesn't like trying to go for the fast time, he likes trying just to go for the long run. Like Chris Champo might have a little bit of pace here in that 2 car. Currently P6 in the standings, but he's just overtaken Jonathan Hernandez on the outside of turn 3 and 4 to take away the lead. Oh, in the background, who was that? Not sure, but I think that might have been the 6 of Matt Horton. Or 9 of Matt Horton, sorry. In fact, it was not the 9 of Matt Horton. He's still there. Oh, Sturgill trying to go up on the inside of Hernandez, puts him around. Oh, looking at the 38 of Thomas Harmon and slowly needling his way through this little pack. The 18 drivers who have put down lap times. Quite a few people who have not. That Chambliss is going to start challenging Champo for the front spot of the pit party. And Champo gets all the way up and into the wall in train 4 there. Now an easy passage for Chambliss into the lead of this thing. Harmon disposed now of Michael Sturgill. Don't worry about the 4 Jaron Sanchez. He has much fresher tyres than everyone else in this little scenario. Because he did originally bin it and come back out with the fresh tyres. He doesn't count as far as the pit party is concerned. Kyle Kraus, number 2 on the standings at the moment. Just 0.027 of a second off of Zach Floyd. Also number 2 in the pit party. And he's just opened up the door for Thomas Harmon. Thomas to the inside of Kyle Kraus. Forces Kyle into a higher line, and he'd like Kyle trying to fight back on that outside. Side by side racing here in practice. Kyle using a little bit of that momentum that he would have gained from that outside line. and he maintains the second for the pit party. Oh, and in the background, Sturgill getting himself into the wall. And you'll have to excuse me for a second here. I got to go and yell at my cat, who's been very loud. I'm back, and I don't think there's going to be any taming that cat. He's just wild and crazy. On screen, we've got the 9er, Matt Horton now, as Thomas finally gets around Kyle Kraus. And the cat decides I want on his target of affection now. And then runs away. There's a 73 of Andrew Perkins going for a spin. That's on the back straight. The front straight, almost trying to chase down Matt Horton, but I think Matt Horton's on much fresher tyres. In fact, he's not. From same tyres here. The Horton somehow got around Thomas. There's a 13 of Travis Massier. Trying to get up on the inside as well. He is definitely on much fresher tyres, as evidenced by how quickly he got away from both of these guys. There's Jonas Sanchez, currently P4 in the practice standings, 0.086 of a second off the lead of Zach Floyd. Still has not been able to improve his time. Don't know whether that's because the track's changed or what. Sanchez looking pretty strong around this new Kentucky Speedway. Another cat done fucked up. Immediately he's awake. And that is my one for the broadcast. Look, we've got fairly warm temperatures here for Kentucky. 28 degree air temp, 29 degree track temp. Wind is southwest at 18 k's an hour. And yes, those weather temperatures were in Celsius, so you can make your own calculations on what they are. We see Brandon Miller getting it up into the wall. There's Clayton Ward on screen, one of the drivers to yet have set a time. He currently slots himself into the 20th position. See what he can do on the second lap here. Oh, as Thomas Harmon gets loose and gets into him. Not often we see Thomas getting loose. That just ruined the run there for Clayton Ward. Oh, just saw Travis and Massia getting into the wall coming out of turn 2. Right in front of Sturgill. Sturgill now looking for the outside run. And he's going to get it there fairly nicely. But back on the inside, the 13 battles not going to get there. Oh, Matt Horton just getting into Zach Floyd there. Spinning out of control. Zach Floyd nowhere to go. That was real life. That could have hurt. There's Frank Isaacson. Can't actually see his car because it's all chromed out. And the lights around here are terrible. Kind of get a hint of his autism Beaks car. But Not as well as what it normally would be if the lighting around this track was a bit better. It does look pretty wicked with the slight hints of the paint scheme though. Let's see if we can get a tighter shot on his car. Just the couple of little hints of the colour actually looks really, really wicked. Now we see Matt Burgess carving his way past all these guys on older tyres. And so is a 9 Matt Horton, who just spun himself off the nose of Frank Isaacson. Oh, Brian Pizzakemi going around, coming out of the pits, the way it's done. I'm just going to restart my trading paints here just to make sure I do have all the updated paints for the cars. Because the one thing I hate is not having the proper paints on the cars. You'll see everyone's paints flashing ever so slightly as we are actually just about at the end of practice here. Guys, we are actually going to go for a quick commercial break, and when we come back we'll show you how everyone fared in qualifying with our starting grid. So make sure you guys stay tuned, and we'll see you in just a few minutes. Alrighty guys, we are back and it is time for us to start going through our grid and seeing who has qualified where. So starting on the pole will be the 88 of Jonathan Hernandez. Starting out of P2 will be the 60 of Kyle Kraus. Zach Floyd in the 28 car will be starting out of P3 once I click the right person. There he is. And on his outside will be the 2 of Chris Champeau from P6. Then we are going to have Jaron Sanchez out of P5. My apologies. Evan Rice is actually going to be 4th. With Chris Champeau there out of P6, as I said. 21 of Brian Chambliss will be out of 7th. With the 12 of Matt Burgess out of 8th. Blake Matties in the 8 car will be out of 9th, with Andrew Perkins in the 73 out of 10th. Michael Sturgill in the 90 car will be out of P11, with the 44 of Clayton Ward out of P12. Gary Waterworth will be in the 10, starting out of 13th, with Brandon C. Miller starting out of 14th. Mark Pentecoff in the 5 will be out of 15th, with the 42 of Logan Lansford out of P16. 17th will be the 24 of Frank Isaacson, and he will also be the last possible driver to receive the Hard Charger Award. 27 of Jonathan Bell will be out of 18th. The 38 of Thomas Harmon will be out of 19th, with the 9 of Matt Horton out of 20th. The 78 of Brian Pizzakemi will be out of 21st, with the 66 of Sam Niederhelm out of 22nd, and the 13th of Travis Massia will be out of the 23rd position. 24 cars in the server with myself included. Strength of field is a 25.92. Got 100 laps ahead of us here in the Blue Line 150 from the Kentucky Speedway. It should be an interesting race. All we gotta do is wait for everyone to get themselves lined up, and we're ready to get this thing going. Also looks like the 27 of Jonathan Bell not making it to the grid. Well, Ashton Schleiss has just gotten to the track as well. He is not going to make it in time for the grid. That's going to be 25 cars in the server, 24 on track, 26.10 now is the strength of the field with Ashton's arrival. The pace car goes off. And we're off and racing for the Blue Line 150 here from the Kentucky Speedway. Kyle Kraus with a good jump in that outside line, keeping Jonathan Hernandez honest here. But Hernandez, the low line in 1 and 2 on the restart, is going to be a very strong line. We see everyone funneling through turns 3 and 4 down the front straight for the first time. Hernandez with the lead. Zach Floyd now in P2 over Evan Rice and Chris Champeau. Kyle Kraus has dropped all the way back to 5th by the end of that lap. But here comes Jaron Sanchez as well, making his way through the field. He slotted up into 5th. He's going to have the 21 of Brian Chambliss there on his inside now. You can see Blake Matties is in there as well. So is Michael Sturgill. And Kyle Kraus in the 60 just behind them. And it looks like the 21 of Chambliss just about taking the advantage there through turns 3 and 4. But Sanchez with the momentum on the outside, keeping him in this battle. Although not this time through 1 and 2. He's just lost out big time to Chambliss there. Virgil also getting around him. Sanchez unable to get back down to the low line. As Blake Matties running a number 4 car as well is on his inside. So we've got the two 4s next to each other. Someone call Clayton Ward because we've got two cars combining to be the 44. Sanchez now finds a place to slot into as Ashton Slice makes his way to the track. Going to be a few laps down because of that. The battle shall continue on. Now we're looking at Matt Burgess in the 12 car. He is just behind Clayton Ward in 13th. The Thomas Harmon back here as well. Not exactly making his way through as fast as what we would expect. Let's go back up to our leader now, Jonathan Hernandez, who is under pressure from Zach Floyd. And Ashton Schleiss is going to be 4 laps down to start this race off, so he's going to have a long way to go to get back onto the lead lap and score some decent points. But Zach Floyd has now taken the lead. Evan Rice was looking at trying to take second away, couldn't quite get there. The battle is on for third though, because here comes Chris Champeau in that outside line, just like Jonathan Hernandez going back to the inside line of the 28 of Zach Floyd. Evan Rice trying to battle back on the inside. Similarly, so does Zach Floyd. And Hernandez maintains the lead. Here comes Champeau to the outside of Zach Floyd now. And Champeau still holding on to that third. Chambliss is now up into 4th. Here comes Chambliss to the inside of Champeau. Oh, a few cars starting to push really hard, getting into the fence. That's Evan Rice getting into the wall there. But Chambliss still unable to get around him. Chambliss driving as hard as he possibly can. We've also got a battle forming for that second position between Zach Floyd and Chris Champeau. Oh! The 6 of Evan Rice has gone around. Blake Matters was caught up in that. Oh! Big hit from the 9. We're going to have to see what transpired there. We're also going to have to see what happened to the 9. So let's slow it up here. It'll be on the 6. The 6 gets into the wall, coming out of turn 2. He thought he had it saved, but he didn't. Gets loose again. Into the 8 of Blake Matties he goes. And around he goes. Let's see what happens to the 9. Matt Horton there, just behind Travis. Thomas Harmon, just in front of the 5. What's he doing? He just cuts right across the nose of Mark Pentecoff. That was weird. Let's back that up again. Let's go on board with him. But we're gonna go cockpit cam on this one, just to see if we can see what was going on through his head, because he knows that Mark is there. You can see Mark Pentecoff right there on his left. You see the car spinning out on the inside, and he's still turning left. That is a weird one there for Matt Horton. And unfortunately, that looks like that's going to bring an end to not just his race, but to Blake Maddie's race as well. And he doesn't hold his brakes until he gets right to the outside wall there. So the 66 and the 22 there, that's Sam Niederheim and Brandon Miller. Very lucky to not run into him. So with that, guys, we're going to go for a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll have a look at how everything has transpired after the pit stop cycles. So make sure you stay tuned. Alrighty, guys, we are back. Gonna have Jonathan Hernandez in the lead of this race. P2 is going to be the 2 of Chris Champeau. Looks like we've got Brian Chandler sitting there in 3rd. Jaron Sanchez will be up into 4th. We've got Sturgill sitting in 5th. Waterworth in P6. Kyle Kraus will be restarting this one from 7th. Clayton Ward 8th. Thomas Harmon will be restarting from 9th with Matt Burgess in 10th. Frank Isaacson 11th, Andrew Perkins 12th, Brandon Miller 13th, Mark Pentecoff will be 14th with Sam Niederhelm in 15th. Brian Pizzicami, Travis Massey will be 16th with Brian Pizzicami in 17th. Logan Lansford and Zach Floyd coming in for some last minute pit stops there. Evan Rice will be the first car 1 lap down. Horton still in the pits. Blake Maddie's still in the pits. Jonathan Bell will be 5 laps down. And Ashton Schleiss, like he has exited himself from the server. Not sure why Jonathan Bell's 5 laps down though. Unless he got some damage and decided to pit. pace car lights have gone out. Going to be going back to green this time by. Chris Kemi and Travis Master coming in for last minute stops. Got 19 cars on the lead lap. One singular car, one lap down. So Hernandez, Champo, Chambliss, Sanchez, Sturgill, Waterworth, Kraus, Ward, Harmon, and Burgess, your top 10. With Isaacson, Perkins, Miller, Penticuff, Niederhelm, Lansford, Floyd, Massier, Penticuff wrapping up your top 19. Evan Rice in 20th, one lap down. The pace car has gone in. And we're off and racing again.
Green flag.
Jonathan Hernandez with a huge jump there on the start. Chambliss already trying to take away that second position from Chris Champo. He's going to get the... So too is the four of Jaron Sanchez, my apologies. They also seem to have developed a very sudden case of the hiccups. So that's going to be fun for the rest of this broadcast. Chris Champo fighting very hard there on the outside line to maintain third. Well done, Chris. Looks like things in the front of the pack here starting to just single file out a little bit. Saw in the background there Thomas Harmon starting to lurk a little bit. Trying to work on the inside of Kyle Kraus. This is for 7th. Makes that move very quickly. Sanchez ran a little bit wide in turn 1 there. Almost invited Sturgill to have a look. The top 3 are very close together. Chris Champo now looking like he's trying to get an outside run go on Chambliss. Ducks down to the inside of 3 and 4. Got the 10 of Waterworth just behind them. Waterworth is usually pretty strong. Waterworth chooses to go to the outside with Chambliss. Chambliss maintains second, just closing that gap in front of Chris Champo. Champo just catching a little bit of the wall there on the exit 2. We're going to open up the radio waves here to see what the drivers are talking about. Chris Champo looking very racy.
Yeah, I spiked there for a second. I'm good now.
He's had a lot of pace in this race. Had pace ever since practice, honestly. We're going to keep an eye on him here, see what he does. He's going to the outside of 1 and 2 on Chambliss. He's getting the run. He's also got the draft from the 88 in front of him. Let's see what he can do with the momentum on the outside of 3 and 4. And Champo takes away second, clean and clear there. Now here comes Waterworth to the outside of Chambliss as well. Waterworth not having an easy of a time as what Champo did. But he does get that position and gets him cleared. Going to be Chambliss now down into the 4th position. Michael Sturgill just behind. And feels like the hiccups are getting worse. I can't even yawn without hiccuping. How about that? As I said, Chris Champo looking very racy here. Looking like he might challenge for the lead any moment. Maybe pushing a little bit too hard there, getting into the wall coming out of turn 2. Lost a lot of momentum there. Here comes Champo now, looking to the outside in 3 and 4. Not going to be able to get it done. Waterworth in the background though. Using the outside to defend from Chambliss. Thomas Harmon is just about on the precipice of the top 5 there. He's going to the inside of Sanchez. Gets that move made. That is now Thomas Harmon up into P6. But back to his inside goes Sanchez. Not going to get anything done there. Still a 28 degrees Celsius air temp. 29 degrees Celsius track temp. To the inside now goes Thomas Harmon on Michael Sturgill. Not going to be able to get that move done there. Now Harmon looking to the outside of Sturgill. See what we can do there. Nothing doing on the outside of 1 and 2. In fact, Sturgill pulled away from him a little bit there. It looks like the low side in 1 and 2, the high side in 3 and 4 is the way to go as the 21 of Brian Chambliss now to the inside of the 10 of Gary Waterworth. He was possibly saving his tyres a little bit and now he's starting to fight back. But Waterworth with the momentum on the outside line, holding on to it for now as they come across the line. And Chambliss in the bottom side of 1 and 2 gets the move made, slots it up in front of Waterworth there on the back straight. Well done. Very well executed move. And now here comes the 90 of Sturgill as well, looking to the inside, not going to get anything done there. Thomas Harmon now looking to his outside with the momentum. And that is going to be Thomas Harmon now up into 5th. Sturgill also under attack from the 4 of Jaron Sanchez on the outside. Sanchez looking very strong, but he's not going to be able to get it done. Sturgill holds him off. And Sanchez now swapping up tactics, going to the inside. Sanchez not quite being able to get that move made. Going to allow Sturgill to use the momentum of the high line to try and maintain. That inside line, though, is just too strong. A slide job from the forward Jaron Sanchez. Gets him in front, but now here comes Sturgill back to his inside. And it looks like Kyle Kraus is going to try and go with him. And Sturgill with his own slide job back on the floor of Sanchez. Here comes the 60 of Kraus now. To the inside of Sanchez. And just about to the inside of Sturgill as well. Some close, hard-paced action here for P7 and 8. As we got a move going on ahead. I think that's with the 10 of Waterworth. It is on the inside of the 21. It's Brian Chambliss. Chambliss pinching down Waterworth there. And that has allowed Thomas Harmon to get to his outside. Thomas Harmon now up into P4. Waterworth down to 5th. Kyle Kraus has gotten around Sanchez. And our leaders are just about to encounter some lap traffic as well. And the likes of Matt Horton down in 23rd position. Horton is 17 laps down. Evan Rice still in the free pass position.
Apron's evil.
Oh yeah, I've got it a time or two. Still a problem, you guys get to me? Couple.
There's some big battling going on there for 3rd, but we just want to watch the leaders getting past the lap car of Matt Horton. And now the 2 of Chris Champeau fancies his chances, goes to a lower line, not going to get it done. And Thomas Harmon is now up into 3rd on the outside of Gary Waterworth. Here comes Sturgill as well, trying to use that outside line to his advantage. As these guys now catch up to the 9 of Matt Horton. Waterworth wasn't prepared for Sturgill to defend his track position there. Just about came to tears. We go 3 wide with a 21 on Brian Chambliss.
Sorry, I fucked that corner all up.
Waterworth has now just dropped all the way back to P6. Possibly 7th now with Kyle Kraus up on his inside. And it is indeed 7th now. We go back up to our leaders. '88 of Hernandez still in the lead, but not by much. Over Chris Champeau. It's only about 0.3 of a second here as they go into turn 3. Champo is running very similar times. In fact, Champo was slightly faster on that lap. A 0.077 of a second. So very similar lap times here by our first and second place cars. See what it is this time when they come across the start finish line. Campo again going faster by nearly a full tenth of a second. He is right on Hernandez's tail now. But just behind them, starting to lurk, is Thomas Harmon. He's within a second of our 2 leaders.
Damn, all your cars go right in 3 and 4.
Close off the radio waves now. There is a cluster behind them, but we're watching this potential battle for the lead. Campo is absolutely hounding the back of Hernandez. Hernandez that time with the advantage, but the margins are so small. Here comes Champo now to the inside in 3 and 4. Sliding up a little bit. He went very deep. He's unable to make the move stick. Now here comes Thomas Harmon looking to the outside of Champo. Champo not going to let him have it that easily. Virgil now trying to deal his way into this battle as well. Sitting there in 4th. He's just been slowly eking out time from these 3 in front of him. And 88 of Jonathan Hernandez coming in for a green flag pit stop. The first one to blink, Jonathan Hernandez. This has just gifted the 2 of Chris Champo the lead. He's going to get the leader lap points for that one. Now let's see, will either of these 3 react to Hernandez going into pit? We are halfway through this race. Now 49 laps left to run. All 3 of them still staying out. Hernandez has gone a lap down. I see Andrew Perkins has gone into the pits. He's gone a lap down. Let's reopen the radio waves, see what we can hear. Looks like Thomas Harmon now looking to the outside of Chris Champo. It's just a look, there's nothing doing there. Chris just grazing the wall ever so slightly there on the back straight. Still, no one else has pitted yet.
Smart call, John.
Sturgill now was trying to look for a way around Thomas Harmon. Couldn't quite get it done. He's going to look to the inside of Harmon here in 3 and 4 as Harmon looks to the outside of Champeau.
44 pitting in.
Leighton Ward's coming into the pits.
22 pitting in.
So is Brandon Miller. Welcome return for Brandon Miller, as I was saying before. Sturgill now up into a potential P2. Thomas Harmon still hounding his tail though. Harmon back to the inside. And it looks like Waterworth is trying to deal himself into this as well. As Champeau is starting to catch up to some more lap traffic.
Leaders, I'm going to stay low.
It's Blake Matties and Mark Pentecoff just in front. Matties very smartly there getting out of the way. Chris Champeau is hauling. Here comes Jonathan Hernandez now with his fresh tyres. Showing the leaders what he can do with them. And he has just taken himself back onto the lead lap. These leaders don't start thinking about pitting soon. They're going to be so far behind him when they go for their green flag stops. They will have much fresher tyres though, but they can't be banking on that.
Pitting in this lap. She was pitting in this lap.
Before Jaron Sanchez is in the pits, the 2 of Chris Champeau is pitting this time by.
Going in this time.
Sturgill's going in this time by.
60 pitting.
So is Kyle Kraus. But as I said, I think it might just be a little bit too little too late as Thomas Harmon continues on. So does Waterworth. Thomas Harmon now with the leader lap bonus points.
Ten this time.
Waterworth's coming in this time.
This time.
So is Matt Burgess.
And
But
John
Harmon's
pitting.
staying out. He'll be going for as long as he possibly can. I know his strat. He wants those fresh tyres for later in the run. Chambliss is now back in P2. 3 seconds back behind Thomas Harmon here. Harmon coming into the pits this time. Let's go back, have a look at Chambliss, see what he's doing. He's coming in. 78 of Pisakemi is staying out. And that is Pisakemi's new paint. very nice looking paint too. They even got a pink fluffy unicorn on it. And now this time Pizzakemi comes into the pits. Going to allow the 13 of Massio to be in the lead, but he's coming in. Logan Lansford still on the track. The Logan Lansford now getting the leader lap bonus points. Jonathan Hernandez just 10 seconds behind him. And he will be charging towards Logan. And now that should be just about all the pit stop cycle done. Hernandez in the lead. And what a lead he has got as well. 14.6 seconds over the 2 of Chris Champeau.
Jonathan, I got pressure. Let me come around you on the bottom.
Hernandez will probably be ruined that he came in so early compared to everyone else, but that gap is not exactly coming down. I think Chris Champeau might be stuck in a little bit of traffic because the gap is actually getting slightly larger here.
We're good.
Good day.
Just give her a little kiss.
Now that gap's starting to come down. Let's go have a look at the 2 of Chris Champeau. Got Gary Waterworth behind him and Michael Sturgill behind Gary. So this is our second, third and fourth place cars. They are on a charge to catch up to Jonathan Hernandez. An 11.5 second gap. And Chris just took 1 full second out of that lead by Hernandez in the last lap. Logan Lansford comes out of the pits. Two-lap cars between Chris Champeau and Jonathan Hernandez, those being the 9 of Matt Horton and the 66 of Sam Niederhelm. Another 1.1 seconds by Chris Champeau on that lap. So these guys are absolutely flying towards our leader right now. And so they should be. They're on 10 lap fresher tyres than Jonathan Hernandez. now remute the audio channel, and we're going to go for a quick commercial break. When we come back, as long as we don't get a caution, we'll be going to the end, so make sure you guys stay tuned. And we are back for the Blue Line 150 here from the Kentucky Speedway. And it would seem that Jonathan Hernandez had to go for another stop, was not going to make it to the end on fuel. And this has now left Chris Champeau in the lead, but he's just lost the lead to the 10 of Gary Waterworth. There's Jonathan Hernandez with his fresh tyres, playing devil's advocate here in the top three. Here comes Sturgill now trying to take away second place from Chris Champeau on the inside of, I think that's 3 and 4. Not going to be able to get it done just yet. He does in 1 and 2 though. Going to be Sturgill up into P2. Champeau down to third, but Champeau starting to battle back on his inside. What can Sturgill do to hold him off in 3 and 4? Both cars go very deep into the corner. Champeau just about got him cleared, not quite. Sturgill now going to use that momentum on the outside line to try and pull back ahead. Waterworth is running away with this right now. He's got 1 lap fresher tyres than both Champeau and Sturgill. And Chris Champeau in 1 and 2 takes the position back. Thomas Harmon also just lurking there in the background. Jaron Sanchez with a good run sitting in 5th. Sturgill now looking like he wants to try and take the inside line here on Champeau, going into 1 and 2. He's only just snuck his nose up there. Let's see what he can do going into the corner. Running on that yellow line with his left side tyres. He gets the position back with authority. And now here comes the 38 of Thomas Harmon to the inside of Chris Champeau. He gets that move made, and now he's to the inside of Michael Sturgill. Thomas Harmon with the freshest tyres in the top 5 right now. 2 laps fresher than... Where is he? They moved on me. Yep, 2 laps fresher tyres than Sturgill and Champeau. 1 lap fresher tyres than Waterworth. Sturgill now has the titanic task of trying to hold off Thomas Harmon. Let's see what he can do here. Thomas Harmon looking very threatening indeed. Thomas Harmon starting to experiment with alternate dimensions, trying to get an advantage. He's not going to do it that way, unfortunately. That's just going to slow him down. But to the inside of Sturgill he goes now. On the front straight. Sturgill not going to be in a good position here in 1 and 2. The outside of 1 and 2 is just not as strong as the low side is. Sturgill slots down into third. Hernandez has made his way up to 13th after making a secondary stop. And Waterworth has just really started to run away with this. He's got a second gap over Thomas Harmon. Sorry, I was fascinated by sirens outside. I think it was a cop. As I said, Jaron Sanchez looking real good there. He's just lost the spot to Brian Chambliss. Chambliss is going to try and make his charge towards the top 4. Not sure if he'll have enough time to do it though. Just a little bit over 2 seconds between himself and Champeau. It looks like Champeau trying to battle hard there with Michael Sturgill. This is for third. This is the best race that Champeau has had in quite a long time here with us. Hasn't been having the best of luck in our races. But he is definitely looking strong here today. Champeau uses that outside line to get the advantage and stay ahead of Champeau. Looks like Champeau is just going to try and reset a little bit here, cool his tyres down, see if he can make another run at it in a couple laps. Saying that the 38 of Thomas Harmon has just ever so slightly been closing in on the 10 of Gary Waterworth. Now don't forget, we've only had a 1 caution flag period. Thomas Harmon now trying to look for a way around Waterworth. He's closed in all of the distance. Sturgill has also got a big gap over Champeau now. I think Champeau might have gotten into the wall at some point. Either that or his tyres are just starting to fall off from driving too hard. Either way, the battle will be on here shortly for the lead, especially as we start getting into lap traffic. Got Blake Matties as the first car on the chopping block. Harmon goes to the inside in 3 and 4. Nothing doing there, but Harmon still just trying to keep his nose up there for the run into 1 and 2. Not going to get it done. Momentum on the outside of 3 and 4 just too strong as they catch up to the lapped car now. He forces him around the outside in 1 and 2, just about getting into the apron and into Thomas Harmon there was Blake Matties. That could have been disastrous, but it was not this time. Here comes Thomas Harmon now. trying to look for a way around. If he can get to the outside in 1 and 2, or even the inside in 1 and 2, or even the outside in 3 and 4, he'd be a shoo-in. Because the momentum coming out of 3 and 4 is just too great to miss that opportunity. But the inside of 1 and 2 is very strong right now. Virgil still right there, sitting in third. Here comes Thomas Harmon now with a big move to the inside in 3 and 4. He's a lot further up than what he was last time he attempted this move. Waterworth still on the outside there, trying to hold him off. But Harmon's still there. This is going to give him the advantage going into 1 and 2. This is what Thomas Harmon wanted. Lap traffic ahead as well. Sam Niederhelm is the next one on the list. He stays up very high there, giving both the leaders as much space as they needed, and Thomas Harmon takes the lead away. Now it's going to be on Waterworth to see if he can try and take the lead back. These guys were only separated in tyre life by 1 lap. Thomas Harmon came in the lap after Gary Waterworth there, and now they're starting to catch up to Brandon Miller in 14th. He is the next car on the chopping block as far as going a lap down is concerned. It's been a very productive return to racing here for Brandon Miller. Big upgrades in his absence. I remember back in the old days of Brandon Miller racing, he never used to be able to see the track evolution, and I taught him how to race dirt. Oh, and Brandon Miller gets into the wall in 1 and 2. He holds onto it, but just about spat down and into our leaders. That was on the very edge of disaster there. I know I just about had a heart attack for that one. I'm pretty sure our leaders both did as well. It looks like Harmon just controlling this race now. Not looking at driving it too hard, not looking at driving it too little. Just controlling it from Waterworth. He saved his tyres just enough that he can maintain a very nice pace here. Logan Lansford is the next car on track to be getting tracked down by our leaders. He is 3 laps down in 20th. As now we have 5 laps left to run in this race. Does Waterworth have anything for Thomas Harmon? I'm not sure. I don't think he does, honestly. I mean, the advantage has gone to Thomas Harmon by the slightest of margins for most of the laps. That time it was Thomas Harmon by 0.033 of a second. And it looks like Thomas Harmon may very well just run away with this one. Gap is now 0.3 of a second as we come out of turn 4 for the penultimate lap to begin. 2 laps left to run. All Thomas Harmon has to do is maintain this pace he's got going, and he's very good at doing that. As I've mentioned, he's not exactly a fast driver, he's just a good driver. He doesn't try and go for fastest laps or anything like that, he just wants nice, smooth, consistent laps, and that's how he gets his pace. As we come out of turn 3 and 4 for the penultimate time. White flag, last lap, last chance to win it or wear it for Thomas Harmon. The gap has now extended out to 4 tenths, nearly 5 tenths of a second at the beginning of this lap. So this is going to be Thomas Harmon's race to lose, and I don't think he's going to lose it from here. As we come out of turns 3 and 4 for the final time. Thomas Harmon, your winner of the Blue Line 150 here from the Kentucky Speedway. He even did it with a little bit of a portal jump there at the end. Well done, Thomas Harmon, with the win. Gary Waterworth in P2 and Michael Sturgill coming home in 3rd place there. What a race. Only 1 caution. That's something that we haven't seen for a good long time. It is great to see. See Sturgill going up to congratulate Thomas there. Just a little bit of a boot on the back. There's the 4 but the 8 of Blake Matties. And Thomas Harmon going into the burnouts already. Tearing up the grass, that's okay. It's a newly repaved track. The grass is old, so the grass is used to it. Oh, a little bit of a tap on the wall. Alright guys, we're going to go for a commercial break. When we come back, we will have driver interviews, so make sure you stay tuned. Alright, guys, we are back. And normally we start things off with the Hard Charger Award winner, but today we're not. Today, instead, we're going to go to our third place getter. And today, that is going to be the 90 car of Mr. Michael Sturgill. Michael, great race by you, man. You were there at the front of the race for pretty much the entirety of it, even though you had a little bit of an off qualifying. What was the race like for you, and how challenging is the new Kentucky?
The new Kentucky is pretty challenging. 3 and 4 is just really weird and kind of flat and wide, and it took me a minute to get that down. Um, Qualifying it almost went really good, but then I spun it on my last lap coming out of 4, so completely killed my qualifying run. But the race, I was able to get up in the top 5 pretty early on, and then it was just a matter of hanging out around the top 5 and trying to save the tires as best I could. Had a pretty good pit stop and came out and was able to take down 3rd place. I was hoping Gary and Thomas would fight each other a little harder for 1st, and that might give me some time to catch back up to them, but they kind of checked out from me. So happy with 3rd though. Definitely happy with 3rd.
It looked like you and Chris Champeau there were having a great battle in those closing stages. What was that like for you?
Yeah, it seemed like I was like faster, but then I got around him and he pulled right back up to me. So it was interesting to see who came out on top there. Um, just had to make the right moves and try to put a gap between us.
All right, man. Now, let's talk about that long green flag run. For the first time in a long time, we had green flag for pretty much the entirety of the race. Only one caution. So what was the plan for you going into the green stop pit cycle? And what was the feeling like with Jonathan pitting so early?
Yeah, me and my spotter were super confused why he went in super early, because I knew you couldn't make it on fuel. So our plan was just to kind of stretch it out as much as possible until we knew we would be for sure good on fuel. And then as soon as we knew we were gonna be good, the rest of the race on fuel, we decided to go ahead and go in. We actually went in with Chris when he was leading, so we were hoping to. I was hoping me and Chris could get a huge gap on everybody else, but Harmon Harmon had those fresher tires, and he definitely put them to good use and got back up around us.
All right, now, your dad's been sitting here and chat over on the Twitch side of things, and he's expressed interest in wanting to join the league. So what would that feel like for you, racing against your dad here in the Output Racing League?
I think that'd be really fun, actually. We don't get to race too much together in official stuff because of our iRating differences, so it'd be awesome to have a weekly thing where me and him get to run together with each other. And especially in this league, it's super clean, so there's some good racing to be had.
All right.
And it doesn't hurt to have an ally out there on the track, especially at like plate tracks.
Oh, it definitely does not. But looking forward to next week, man. We're going to New Hampshire. So what's the feeling like to you going to the New Hampshire Motor Speedway?
I'm actually I'm actually pretty confident there. I like that track a lot and usually seem to do pretty good there. So I'm definitely excited for next week.
All right, man. Well, before we let you go, anyone you want to give a quick shout out to?
Shout out to my dad for watching. Um, Shout out to you for putting this on. Shout out to everyone that runs the league. Shout out to my spotter Billy, who actually wanted me to. I don't know. He told me just to tell you Hondo, that you would know what it meant. I don't know what it means.
Yeah,
Do
you
you know what
lost
it?
me on that one as well.
Well, I'll tell Billy what the hell. So he claimed you would know what it meant since you're an Aussie. So I don't know. I'll ask him what he meant by it. But thanks for broadcasting this. I really appreciate it, and hopefully next week we'll be talking again.
Well, hopefully, indeed. We look forward to seeing what you can do next week, man.
Sounds good. Thank you.
All right, guys. So that was our third place getter, Mr. Michael Sturgill. Coming up next, we have a guy who is lucky but also unlucky. He's got a lot of pace but just gets caught up in stupid shit. And that's my second for the broadcast. He is also today's Hard Charger Award winner. We are, of course, talking to the 10 of Mr. Gary Waterworth. Gary, great race by you, man. Started in 13th, worked your way up to P2. What was the race like for you, and how does it feel to finally get a decent podium?
Yeah, it feels good. The beginning of the run there, I was still trying to figure it out. I haven't gotten too much practice in the A car this week, but about quarter of the way through, I figured out 3 and 4, and it was helping me out, saving on tires as well.
All right, man.
Uh,
Now, as I said before, you haven't exactly had the best of luck since you've come into our league. You've been in positions of, being towards the front and, looking at getting a win, but just get, unlucky. So what's the feeling like finally having, a decent result?
yeah, it's good to bring one out on the podium here again. I think I ended up second back in Chicago, or no, Chicago was a mess as well. Whatever. I ended up on the podium one of these weeks. I remember having an interview. But I just burned up the tires a little too much after the stop on lap 60 and didn't have enough to get back to Thomas there at the end. So that was unfortunate. Pretty frustrating because I know this is one of those learning moments where I'll have to carry on and hopefully pull out a victory one of these weeks.
I mean, one of the things about being the hard charger is, obviously you've had to pass a few cars. What was passing like around this track? Because I imagine that it looked like it was very difficult. It looked like the low side in 1 and 2 was the place to be, and also the high side in 3 and 4. So what was it like for you?
Yeah, for me, I kind of like the bottom in 3 and 4, or like mentally thinking about it, because the way I tried to exit more straight line, and I noticed a lot of more people were arcing it on exit. And definitely the bottom was nice early in the run when you had fresh tires, but as it worked in, I did notice it move up a little bit because I could pinch somebody and get them to get tight off so I could get a run on the backstretch there.
All right, man. Now next week we are going to the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. What's the feeling like for you going into New Hampshire?
Honestly, not too confident. I don't have much experience there on iRacing yet. Most of my experience has come from the NASCAR games, and I did not like it there. I know that's a lot different, but we'll have to get some practice in before that one.
All right, man. Well, congratulations on P2. Congratulations on getting the Hard Charger Award as well. Look forward to seeing what you can do next week.
Thank you. Glad we got race in with just one caution there. Really unfortunate that was Evan. Hoping to see him get a good finish as well. But there's next week.
All right, well, thank you very much, man. We see you again next week.
Corey, great broadcasting.
All right, guys. So that was the 22, well, the 10 of Gary Waterworth. He's still the 22 in Discord. I have to change that on him. Coming up next, we have today's winner. Now, we always get to talk to this guy because he's always there or thereabouts. And today he came in with, the youngest tires compared to everyone else in the top 5 there, and came out with the big W. We are, of course, talking to the 38 car of Thomas Harmon. Thomas,
What's up?
great race, man. I'm seriously in awe of what you are able to do in that car. I thought maybe you're going to be a little bit off the pace there, because of everyone else getting the undercut on you, but you sure proved me wrong, and you come out with the win again. What's your secret?
Just take it easy on the tires, really. That first long run, I had to use up the tires to get through the field and to get past some of those guys. But once the pit stop cycled through, I was able to run the groove that I wanted to run. And after that first stint, my right front was, I think, 68%, I think it was. and then the second stint, it was even after the burnout, it was still 70%. So I was able to save that right front and run how I wanted to run on that second half of the green flag run.
Now, definitely looked like you're having a little bit of fun carving your way through the field there. But I want to know what you think was Jonathan Hernandez's thought process with pitting as early as what he did.
He was just trying to be cute, and he was trying to pull a late race comeback and hoping for a caution, but it didn't work out for him. I told him he better not do it again. I'll kick his ass.
Well, that's definitely one way of doing it. But man, it was a great race by you. Fairly dominant throughout, all the latter stages. So what was the plan like for you, going through that long green flag run and deciding when to pit?
The decision to pit was pretty easy for me. I knew I wanted to push it as far as I could, get the fresh tires, let the draft, and let the older tires bring everybody back to me. And but it was nice to get a green flag run, nice to get green flag stops, and continue to have a green flag run after the stops. I don't think that's something we've seen all year, and it was just real nice to get it. And other than try to work my way to the front, I didn't really have a game plan outside.
All right, now let's just talk about the track for a second because it's a newly reconfigured track. How did you find the track for yourself?
Oh, I had fun with it. It runs a lot better than what it did in the previous iteration. Them adding, I think they added banking to it, and obviously the repave. But it's made it. You could possibly run multiple grooves there, but we didn't have enough time to experiment and get the grooves worn in around the various portions of the track in practice. But you were able to carry some speed at the top end of the track, and overall it was just fun. A lot better than what it used to be. That's for sure.
All right, Thomas. Now, looking forward to next week. We're going to New Hampshire. What's the feeling like for you?
Survive. New Hampshire's statistically not one of my greatest tracks. So I'm sure you'll be interviewing somebody else for the win next week.
Well, might be, but maybe it's a chance for Sergio to claw some points back from you as well. You guys are in a tight little battle there for the top of the tables.
Yeah, I like that he's able to hang with me. I'd like to see him get up there and get the points battle a little bit closer, have us fight back and forth. Because I mean, yeah, it's good to win, but it's also nice to have somebody to fight with. Because just romping all over everybody sucks.
All right, man. Well, anyone you want to give a shout out to before we let you go here today?
Shout out to you up in the booth, Jaron, Brian, all the other admins, all the guys that show up each week, all the fans that watch your channel or watch the broadcast each week, and that's about it.
All right. Well, thank you very much for coming out, Thomas, and we look forward to seeing what you can do next week.
Yep, I'll be there.
All right, guys. So that was today's winner, Thomas Harmon, in the 38 car. And that is going to be the end of our broadcast here today, guys. Don't forget, if you're watching this back on the YouTube, to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you're watching over here on Twitch, don't forget to give us a follow. Everything really does help out and helps the channel grow. And maybe look at getting into doing some more broadcasting. But until next week, when we go to the New Hampshire Motor Speedway, I have been Aussie Sim Commentator, and we look forward to seeing you guys next week. Ciao for now.